The Battle of Dunkirk. The Battle of Dunkirk was the battle between the German Nazis and the cornered Allied forces, where the emergency evacuation of over 300,000 troops took place. In World War II, the Allied forces, which consists of the USSR, Great Britain, USA, and France, fought against the Axis forces, which consist of Nazi Germany, Italy, and Japan. The Battle of France was a major battle that led up to the evacuation of Dunkirk. Germany invaded Belgium and the Netherlands to get around the French defenses, which caused French forces to move upwards. Doing so consequently left a spot of vulnerability for the German forces to go through. The Ardennes forest was a patch of dense forestry and hills thought to be naturally impenetrable with its natural and concrete fortifications set up by the French. Very few man defenses were at this point in the Maginot Line, which was a potential vulnerability for the Germans to use. Hitler's armies went through this patch using tanks and mobile units to overcome the terrain. The Nazi military quickly ran through the Allied units and pushed them back into Dunkirk. As the German Nazis quickly spearheaded their way through the Ardennes forest and made their way around the northern Allied units, the southern units were promptly cut off. They made numerous attempts to halt the spearhead attacks, but failed due to the great organization of the attack. When the German Nazis successfully flanked the Allied forces, they began quickly pushing them back. Due to the extreme pace of the German units, the emergency evacuation of the soldiers, named Operation Dynamo, was thought to only be able to evacuate about 30,000 soldiers out of the approximately 400,000 trapped in Dunkirk. A decision that is controversial and widely discussed was the halt order by one of Hitler's generals, which stopped the advances of the German army for 3 days. The plan was to recombine the German forces for their assault downwards, but it gave the Allied troops just enough time to set up defenses and more time to rescue the soldiers. In the aftermath of the Battle of Dunkirk, over 300,000 soldiers were evacuated and 35,000 soldiers captured. 17,000 soldiers were killed in the evacuation, and most of Dunkirk was obliterated. With northern France captured, the Germans were free to invade the rest of France and cut off the British from the French colonies. The French signed the armistice at Compiègne, which was basically a surrender. The Germans allowed the French to continue to govern some territories, but removed their navy from the war. They were essentially silenced, while the Germans turned their attention to Britain. Here's the bibliography and the fact sheet.